All right, I think it's adjusted real quick. All right, good morning. Colleen here. Just a little bit more. Quite a day today. Fire is still raging. And you guys are right across the streets from me, so you guys see what I'm seeing. The smoke is still billowing. Last night I couldn't believe the whole mountain was on fire. So today I thought we would just do a review of everything that we've been doing. So I'm not going to use music. It's still going to be a really good workout, but we've been together for several months now. And if anybody's kind of feels like some of the moves are over their head, I thought I would just go back and we could review all the stuff. So today we're going to start off. I'm using my chair, I've got my water bottle. I've got some weights. I've got my resistance band, if you have one. We'll go through all of that stuff, okay? So we're gonna start with just a march. Okay, so when you're doing your march, usually I do it to speed of the music, but we can take it slower if you want to. I can march with, basically my knees really high, and really pumping my arms. Okay, or if I'm having a slower day, I can keep it down low. I could be sitting in my chair and marching here and getting as much cardio right here too. So kind of make it go. So using that march. It's kind of a nice way to get our bigger muscles, our shoulders and our hips kind of working right off the bat. The warm-up's trying to get the body ready for the rest of the workout. All right. And then oftentimes we do a little side step in here, okay, where we open up big. And when we do that, I want you to kind of hinge from the hips. So I'm lifting up from the hips here. I'm gonna make sure our volume's all the way up here for you guys too. Okay. So, and so sometimes we want to kind of rock back and forth, but what I want you to do is really hinge from the hips. And then you can bring that back in, and then you can take it back out. Okay, get that nice march, and use your arms, and bring it back in. Take those legs out, take that nice lift. Good, and bring it back in. So now when I'm marching too, I can march to speed, okay, to speed of, if we had a song, or I could go a slow march. When I do a slow march, lots of times I do a toe heel, kind of like a strut, toe heel, and then you can go back to your march. Okay, and we can also take that in double time where we would do like a little run. Now it's really nice to kind of mix up your workout between speed and slow. Okay, it's good for your brain, it's good for your body, and taking it into those fast ones. Now, when I do this fast one, I can actually do like a little run, but if you're not comfortable doing a run, I could just do heel lifts. I'm gonna step back here a little bit, where I just actually lift my heels off the ground. Okay, and keep my toes. So if you don't want to get that bounce of running, I can just do little heels. I take one of those heels back and forth, and take it back to that march. Perfect. Okay, now also, let's do a little out, in. And so when I'm doing an out, in, I take my leg out, take the other leg out, so it's a nice wide extension, and bring it in. So we go out, in, out, in. Okay, so you're going out to the right, out left, and bring it back together. You can do this in the chair also. So out, in. And so lots of times I'll add the arms just to kind of get the direction going. Throughout our whole class, usually I'm doing arms and legs both. You don't have to. And in, out, in. Perfect. Now, if I wanted to make that a little bit harder, I could do a lower squat. So I could go out, in. So I can step it down, in, down, in, down, in. Okay, so march. So we kind of put all that stuff together so I can march, take it a little slower, take it slow, take it fast, either a little run or a heel, take it back to that march, take it wide, boom. Perfect, bring it back. Then we take it out, in, out, in. All right, so breaking everything up. Good. Then coming back to center, that march, I could do a little tap. Now when I'm doing a tap, I'm not getting a weight change, I'm just taking the leg out there, tap, okay, perfect. And we can add little arms here, taking it in, going down with that, down, tap, or I can add a little shoulder roll, okay? On that shoulder roll, if your shoulders aren't feeling too good this morning, you can keep it right here, okay? So by bringing the fingertips to the shoulder, it still enables you to get that shoulder movement without pain usually, okay? If you don't have any restrictions on your range of motion, you can take the elbows back, you can take the arms all the way back. Perfect. And you can come back the opposite direction. Get that nice circle. Perfect. And let's come back to center and march. All right, so then let's kind of do a little hip action here. So I like to do little double hips. So we do a little double, so we can stretch those hips out the side. Double, getting a little bounce in there. You can get a little arm motion too if you want. And then I single them out, single. Okay, so you get that little back and forth a little quicker. And then you can also take it and just move it as fast as you want, and you can kind of have a little freestyle here, okay? Or you could go back to the double, or a little single. Sometimes we'll do a pattern where we'll go double, single, double, single. So I just take basic moves that we know and we put them in different combinations. Double, single. For most of you who've been coming and taking class for a while, probably realize that you're just kind of learning more and more each time you take class. All right, now you can just do hip circles here. This is this little body roll. Okay, so I kind of push out to the side, then I go to the back, all the way around to the side, and back. I go the opposite way, going to the back, all the way to the front. Good. All right, and then coming back to center, I like to do pelvic tilts. Okay, pelvic tilts, I soften my knees. Okay, and then I'm going to take my pelvis, and see how I kind of got my back arched, push the pelvis back, and then I push the pelvis forward. Now my shoulders and my knees, I want to try to keep in alignment, and I'm pushing that pelvis forward and back. Good. And when you're doing that little pelvic tilt, it stretches the quads, hamstrings, abdominal muscles, and your spinal muscles. So it works the whole gamut. All right, and then I can take that and just with the pelvis can move and get a little circular rotation. All right, and back the opposite way. Perfect. So we can do a little bit of belly dance in there. All right, and let's come back to that march. And let's open the shoulders up, let's pull back and pull back. So I get those elbows up high, a little pulse, and I'm bringing my shoulder blades, I can't see because my hair, bringing my shoulder blades together. So pulling back. And you can get a little march. You can be sitting in the chair doing this too. All right, and then we take our hands by our side, and usually I do a little bit of a squat here. I kind of go down, and I come up, and you can either roll them down, or you can do a little knock. Or a little knock. So that's kind of waking up the wrist. So I kind of want to, in this little warm-up period, work as much of the body as I can and get it working. We have so many muscles many of them that we don't use in an average day. So in a workout, we want to try to work all those muscles. All right, now we're going to take our arms to the outside. So out, a long nice stretch, and then give yourself a nice big hug. And then take it out, and a nice big hug. Yesterday, I got a card from a friend, and inside it was 3 little felt hearts that said hug on it. I was like, that was really nice. So you're sending me hugs. We all need some hugs right now. We have to do it ourselves. It's not the best, but it helps. All right, good. Okay, so now I'm gonna come down to the chair, and I'm gonna grab a sip of water first. So usually when I come to the chair, it's more strengthening for the legs. So it's still gonna be a pretty good workout. Some people try to do this stuff standing. Some of it you can. Some of it really just needs to be done in the chair. So let's start with our feet. And I'm going to do a little flex and point. You can see I'm just pointing and flexing and pointing and flexing. Now, our feet are highly ignored until they start to bother us. You go ahead and let's circle. So let's see if we can keep them happy before they start bothering us. And that means keeping them moving in all different directions, and keep that flexibility. The other side, let's flex and point, and flex and point. And then I'm going to circle it one way. Good, and circle back the other way. All right, so we're just doing a little different today, which kind of makes your feet move a little different. I'm going to write my name, my first name with my right leg, and my last name with my left leg, which for me is kind of almost the same because it's Colleen. But so it'll make your feet have to work a little bit different. Okay, you can write it in cursive, or you can write it in print, whichever way feels better for you. Okay, I'm getting that C, and then my O, L, L, E, N, N, boom. All right, so there's little things you can do to kind of play around with that. All right, so now let's take that leg, right leg, let's extend it out to the side, and we're going to try to get a nice long line. Okay, so you extend to the side and the side. So I'm switching my weight over to the other side, getting a weight change in the chair. Okay, so I'm getting that weight change. And if anybody has osteoporosis, we're always working on weight bearing. Weight bearing being that you put weight into a joint. And we think about that weight bearing as being like mostly walking, and then we think about weights. But there's also weight bearing just even here, switching your hips from side to side. Okay, I can do it to speed. Take it out, a little faster. And usually I come to the edge of my chair so that I have a little more mobility in those inner thighs. Okay, now I could add on a little bit, and I could reach out, and from here, if possible, you want a nice long line from the fingertips all the way down to your toes, which gives you an incredible stretch across the ribs there. And I'm going to reach, and I'm going to reach, and I'm going to reach, and nice long stretches, reach, and reach. And again, if I wanted to, I could take this to speed. All right, so we're using it to music, so this would be to the speed of the music, and if we did it slow, that would just be half time. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, so you can still use the same stretch of music, or you can be doing slow or faster, even working with me in class. Okay, so there's a lot of flexibility, and we really need to, let's come back to second. Honor ourselves. And let's come back to just a little march here. Now just bringing the knees up. All right, now I'm going to take the knees high into the outside. And so this motion here helps us to get in and out of the car, in and out of the bathtub or jacuzzi, stepping up a high step. Okay, so we really want to keep those inner thighs open. Also, having nice stretched out inner thighs helps us to walk, have a better gait. All right, so let's Go ahead and we'll add an arm with this. So we'll take one arm out and bring it back. One arm out. So we're doing kind of a slow motion here, which is fine. And out. When we're moving slow, we're working more strength. When you speed it up, it ends up being more cardio. Both areas that we need to work with. All right, so now I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna take both arms out. Boom. And boom. All right, let's do 2 more here. And then let's just do a little faster to speed. So I'm gonna go out and back, and out and back, out and back, out and back. Good. And last one. Out and back. Good. Come back to that march. So oftentimes when I'm in the strength part 2, we'll do some knee lifts. So we'll lift a little knee and down, and knee and down, and knee and down, and knee and down. Now when I'm doing the knee lifts, I want to make sure that the knee's coming up and I'm not doing a rocking horse, okay? So this is not a rocking horse lift. I want to have it lifting from the joint there. Lift and down, lift and down, and lift and down. And then maybe we'll hold it for a couple of counts and down and hold. Kind of maybe using that opposing arm to get that balance. Up and hold, up and hold. Good. And then take it back to that faster march. And now I'm going to do a one-legged march. So I'm going to stick that one leg, lift, 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 lift. And if you can get the arms going with it, sometimes it's really hard to get the opposite arm going, but it's really a good coordination skill. Boom, boom. You can do that slower too if you wanted. The lifting it up fast is harder. Maybe shake it out a little bit. Now we're going to do the opposite leg. Lift, 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 lift. Perfect. Good. And bring it back to center. Okay, so now let's go ahead and lift that knee up and extend the leg. Bring it back in and down. Again, I want to be sitting up nice and tall. Back and down. Lift it up, extend, back and down, up, extend, and down. One more time each side. Back and down, up, extend. Again, I'm looking for as much, as close as you can get it, and as straight out as possible. Now you might only be able to get up a little ways and out a little bit. We're all kind of working for what works best for us. Now I'm going to extend the leg out, and I'm going to lift it straight up. Okay, so really working that core, hinging from the hip here. 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. And other side, lift it up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. Go back to that march. So when I'm thinking about working your legs, I'm thinking about taking them out, taking them to the front, lifting them up. But I'm also thinking about crossing them across midline, because that kind of helps with balance issues. So I'm taking it now, I'm going to go toes, are going to go across, toes, toes, toes. So I'm just tapping it across the middle somewhere there. Now you're going to find that you're going to get a little twist in that torso. And you can add a little extra by just kind of putting the arms up. Okay, so we're getting a little torso movement. We're getting a little stretch across midline. Perfect. You can take it for doubles if you want. So you can take it out and back, out and back, out and back, out and back. Doubles, boom, and doubles. Just gives you a little extra twist there. Out and back and out. Good, and last one, then, and let's come back to center. There's lots of different things I do during this chair part, but that's kind of the basics. One of my favorite ways to finish that is with our jacks. Now jacks, I can take a jack and I can do, like just take the legs out like we did earlier. Okay, so that could be my jack, or maybe I can take one leg all the way out and my arms up, and the other leg all the way out and up. okay? Or maybe you can take both legs out. Now, usually when I take both legs out, I do a little jog, like I go boom, 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 boom. It makes it a little bit easier. So it's still kind of one at a time, but I'm getting that nice expansion. I've been talking a little bit about power moves also. And power moves are, there's from a power gym here in Tucson, that's a lot for Parkinson's, but because we get closed up when we get sometimes some of these disabilities that we have. And so power moves, the idea is taking and opening everything up and opening it up big. So like when I do jacks or when we do these reach across type stuff, it's all kind of trying to get and keeping everything from here and opening it up and making us shine nice and big. All right, perfect. Then I'm gonna grab a sip of water. I'm gonna stand up and kind of do some review of the cardio part of the class, okay? So let's go ahead and let's march. All right, so one of the segments I like to do is give a little hamstring curl. So we do a little step touch. We might share that. Okay, so a hamstring curl. Hamstrings are in the back, the muscles in the back. Okay, so I'm going to take and bring that heel up towards my hamstring. Up toward my buttocks, sorry. Okay, so it's coming up. And it may not be quite as high. That's fine. As I bring the heel up towards my buttocks, it's strengthening my hamstring, but it's going to be stretching the quads here in front, so you're going to feel that. Now I'll do a couple of different things. I might do biceps, okay, where I have the elbows right by the side. I might do a little sway, okay, side to side, or I might do a row, okay, pulling in. And maybe you can take it down a little lower and row. All right, so there's lots of varieties. Sometimes I'll double it up, so I'll go double, and then we're adding a balance component to it also. One thing I like to kind of do in our workouts is, first of all, I like to talk a lot and with the music going so that you don't really think about what you're doing. Last one here. And then I like to mix things up so that we're working on our muscles, our balance, our coordination, our brain thinking, and all the stuff all in one. And then hopefully having a little bit of fun while we're doing it. All right, so let's go back to the toe taps. We did a little toe taps, I think, earlier. Maybe not, but okay, so toe taps. I'm reaching out. I want to make sure that I actually push into the toe. Okay, so I really want to extend into that toe. And we can do a little push out. And when we're pushing out like this, we're working those triceps, the muscle on the bottom there. Push, push, push. So there's really some purpose for everything we do, right? Now I might take one hand, take the opposites, and now we've changed it into a coordination kind of thing. Okay, or maybe I'll keep the toes going and I'll do what I call my hummingbird series. So I'm pulsing the hands to the front. My fingers are spread nice and wide apart. I take it and I turn and pulse to the back, so my shoulders roll in a little bit. Pulse it back. Okay, I take it up, shoulders roll back again. Good, and then I take it down, shoulders come back. Good, a lot of little variety we can do. Now, just like in the chair, I could take the toes across the body, okay, kind of sitting into it a little bit more. And I could do that double up. So lots of times you'll see the same exercises done from warm up to the chair to the cardio, maybe done at different speeds or done a little more intensely now that your body's warmed up a little better. So we kind of just mix it up. All right, and last one, good. And march it out. Another way I like to do is kind of add on to our out, out, in, okay? And I'm going to take it forward. So let's just go a little forward and back. So 1, 2, 3, 4, back, right, 2, 3, 4. So just walking steps, 2, 3, 4, and back, 2, 3, 4. Now I'm going to add that out, out, in, 4, out, in. I'm ready to go back in the right foot. 3, 4, out, in. Take it forward, 2, 3, 4, out, in. in, take it back, 3, 4, out, in. Now I could add a little dynamics, a little slow and fast, by doing a out, in. So I go out, in. So a little bit of a jump, 3, 4, out, in, back, 2, 3, 4, out, in. Now I could also take that a little faster and go out, in, out, in, back, 2, 3, 4, out, in, out, in. Now if you look at these, they're all the same count, so I could do any of the combinations, out, in, out, in, without losing beat with the rest of the group. Now I can do an out, in. Okay, 2, 3, 4. Right, we go 1, 2, 3, 4, back, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we do a little 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Well, I think I did that twice. Out, and in, I did out, and in, good. So it's all the same count, all the same beat. So in the same, if we were all in person, which hopefully we will be Sunday, we could all do a little bit different variety. Okay? All right, so I wanted to do a little bit on mambo and cha-cha, just a little. Okay, so mambo is just a little quick, slow, quick. We just bring it back, out, together, out, together. And then I can take it side, together, side, together, side, together. And we take it to the back, together, back, together, back, together, back, together. So I usually do 4 front, side, back, and then I take like a little pause, and then we go opposite foot. 4, out, and back. You can add some arms, and 4, take it to the side, out, and back, 2, and back, 3, and 4, take it to the back, together, back, together, 3, and 4. Then I take another little pause, and then usually do the whole thing in 2s. So I come forward for 2, take it to the side for 2, take it to the back for 2, back, and back. Little pause so we can change weight to now be on the left foot, push, take it to the side, push, and push, take it to the back, push, and push. Take a little pause, and then I go 1, 1, 1. So 1 and 1. So this with just a little bit of practice becomes a little natural. Pause, 1 and 1 and 1. And I like to kind of combine it with a little grapevine and the heel dig, because this heel dig is common to Latin dancing. And I've talked a lot about the fact that a lot of our movements come from different dances, from cha-cha, mambo. All right, bring it back to center. Let's give me some heels. Swing dances, waltz, all different things, all the different workouts and dances, and they all cross over each other. All right, now we can do that same pattern, or the same idea, kind of. I call it cha-cha around the world, and we do a cha-cha forward, and then cha-cha opposite foot. Okay, so cha-cha is going 1, 2, and then cha-cha-cha. 1, 2, now take it side, side, take it back. So we just kind of alternate right and left, go around the world. So forward, cha-cha-cha, forward, cha-cha-cha, take it right, cha-cha-cha, take it left, cha-cha-cha, and back, and back. Good. Do it again. So forward, cha-cha-cha, and forward, cha-cha-cha, take it side, cha-cha-cha, and side, cha-cha-cha, and back, cha-cha-cha, and back. Good. So there's some of our basic things. Let's do one more, V step. So the V step has it goes to the front, side, and then you bring it back together. And basically what I want is I want to make, you can see my hands, a V, okay? So I go diagonally, and then I bring it back together. So diagonally, back together. Now when I use V-step, I use it in the chair, I use it standing. We do both left and right legs. I'll do hands with it, okay, so push, push, back, back, push, push, back, back. Sometimes I take the hands high and back and high and back. We can take it down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. And we can take it to speed. Boom, 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 boom. All right? 2, 4, boom. Now, when I need to change to the other leg, either I take a pause, like I just did when we did the mambo, or I stop and I do some sort of movement. So sometimes in between I'll stop and I'll do some squats. Now remember our squats, the knees and ankles are in alignment. Okay, you drop those hips back. Okay, so by bringing both feet together, it makes it easier for me to then do the same pattern on the opposite foot. Okay, so do our last squat. Okay, so now I can start on the left foot, and I can go out, out, and back together, and I can add the arms if I want. Okay, so just to add a little diagonal, diagonal, boom. We can add those arms tall, up, up. And if you have a favorite position, you can do it no matter what I'm doing with it. You can go down, down, up, up, down. We can take it a little more speed, boom, boom. Boom, back, boom, boom. All right, perfect. So that's a little bit on V-step. Let's grab a sip of water. Sorry, I kind of gave you too long without water. All right, so let's come to our chair and grab that band. And I don't know if everybody has bands, but sometimes you can use a strap, or you could use even a towel. I got all my little stuff here, but you could use a towel. Or, you could just do the movements without. I'm pretty sure you guys have bands. Okay, so I'm just going to do seated. You can do any of this stuff standing. But so we're going to work on triceps. Now again, the triceps are the muscles in the back. And the triceps don't get as much natural work during a day as our biceps. Our biceps, we're always picking up stuff, picking up our groceries, picking up a book, picking up things, but triceps are more what we use when we get up out of the chair, okay? And they're really important, and we need to make sure we keep them nice and strong. So I'm going to take my hand, put the handle here, and put it right to my heart, and then I'm going to extend out and back and out and back, and 3 and 4 and 5, good. And 6, and 7, and 8. Good. Now we do it half time. I take it half out and bring it back. Take it out, out, bring it back. Good. And out, out, and back, out, out, and bring it back. Okay, I told you guys I was supposed to be getting my house painted. We wouldn't have the same backdrop. But I'm on hold for right now, for a couple of weeks, which gives us a time to keep changing the color back and forth. I'm kind of okay with just having it white like it is, but my husband wants a little more color. Out, and 6, which is fine, and 7, and 8. And let's slow it down. Let's take it out for 2 and back. And out for 2 and back. Now, if you notice, even when I'm halfway, I still have resistance in my band. Out and back. So you don't want it so loose that it's just kind of flopping around. So you want to make sure you have a band that gives you enough resistance. All right, so now I'm going to take and I'm going to put that band underneath my feet. And I'm going to work the biceps. So I'm going to keep those elbows by my side and I'm going to bring it all the way up. And down, and 2, and 3, and 4. If that's not enough resistance, you can go ahead and stand up and do it. Or sometimes people will catch underneath their handles. Okay, they'll double up a little bit so they have more resistance. That's what's kind of cool about these resistance bands, is that you can give yourself more resistance or less resistance depending on which muscle you're working on. So you can have a full variety of movements, okay? So there's our biceps, perfect. Now sometimes when I'm doing biceps too, I'll have you come up just halfway and down, halfway, halfway. And then I'll have you come from halfway to the top and just come halfway down. So there's lots of variety. Sometimes I'll have you alternating. And the main reason that I alternate and change and do different things is that you don't want your body to have the muscle memory, because if I did the exact same routine, and sometimes people do that, and that's fine too, but if I had the exact same routine all the time, then my body would go, I know where she's going next, she's doing this. And then the muscles get a little bit lazy. So it's kind of nice to mix things up, mix the timing up, mix how many repetitions you do, but still keep working all the same body parts. Okay, so now we're going to do a little bit with the shoulders. Okay, so I'm going to take weights out to the hands out to the side and up, take it out and up and out and up. Now again, also if the resistance is too much, you could release one foot and only have one foot holding that band. All right, so the resistance band can be 1 foot over the band, it can be 2 foot over the band, it can be seated or standing. And all of those things are going to change the resistance. All right, and last one. Perfect. Okay, roll those shoulders out a little bit. Roll that neck a little bit. Good, let's just do one more for the legs here. So now I'm going to cross my bands, okay, you can see that little cross there. And I'm going to bring the handles up kind of by my thighs there, where the joint meets. And I'm going to take it out and in. So you're going to see that out and in we did earlier at the very beginning. So one thing that's kind of cool about working out is you'll see things, instructors will do things in different combinations, do them a little different, but the more you work out, the more classes you take, the more variety that you see, you'll start going, oh, that's just like we did at the beginning of the class. I just have a resistance band now, okay? Out, good. Now I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take it out, so it gets a little more resistance, in, out, in. Instead of out and back, I'm taking out, and then in. Much like our V step, except it's done in one place. Out, in, out, in. Perfect. Let's go ahead and put that resistance band away. So there's a whole lot of other varieties, but that's kind of working the core muscles in the inner thighs, the shoulders, the triceps, biceps. So that kind of helps us to get the basics there. Hopefully this is not too much talking for you guys today. But I just thought every once in a while it's good to have a little review. Okay, so let's start with our biceps. So we're gonna come back to the biceps. I'm gonna stand up. You can stay seated if you want. Okay, elbows by the side, taking them up and down. Now, besides the weights that we use, you can change the intensity by how fast or how slow you do it. So I'm doing a single beat here. Okay, single count. So up and down and up and down. Now, it doesn't really matter the weight that you use as much as working to, I lost the word, not exhaustion, working to fatigue. Okay, so working to fatigue. You want to fatigue the muscles. All right, so that's single count. Okay, now I can take it and make it a little bit harder by slowing it down and take it up 2 counts. So up for 2 and down for 2 and up for 2 and down for 2. Okay, for 2 and down for 2. Now sometimes I'll do a combination of up for 3, down for 1. It gives it a little variation. So we go up 2, 3, and you might notice if you're using weights instead of just a water bottle, or even just using your own weight of your hands, that the slower you go, the heavier those weights feel, or the heavier your hands feel. Oh, sorry, I got talking and lost my feel. Okay, so up, 2, 3, down 1, up, 2, 3, down 1. Okay, so now we're going to come up 1 and down 3. So I'm going to go up 1 and then down 2, 3, up 1, down 2, 3, up 1, down 2, and 3. Perfect. So we can also do a little bicep. So I like to combine the bicep with other body parts. Okay, so we're doing overhead press now. We'll start with the bicep and go into it. Overhead, up, and press, up and press. Perfect. Up and press. Or maybe we could, and I can do this in a chair, but you can also standing, we can do a knee lift with that bicep. Okay, so I can be in a chair and do a knee lift and a knee lift. Or I could do a heel extension. Heel extension. Okay, so it kind of gets that double duty. All right, so in between weights, anytime you feel tight, go ahead, you can roll your shoulders. You can go ahead and bring the shoulders up to your ears and bring them down, all the way up to the ears and down. Or sometimes I like to just kind of let one weight lean more than the other and just let my neck kind of stretch. So really, you don't want to get sore while you're doing weights. Okay, you want to make sure that you're relaxing a little bit in between, resting in between. Okay, so now I'm going to do triceps. Knees are softened. Okay, I'm hinging forward a little bit and I'm kicking back. Okay, now I want to get my elbows up as high as I can, kick them back, get a nice long full extension. And sometimes taking a moment maybe after class, if you have a mirror, look at yourself in the mirror. There's nothing vain about that. And just see if you're getting those arms up nice and high. Okay, so extending them back. Now I can do that in the chair. I do it sometimes with both weights on one and I work one arm at a time. Okay, if you have the space without hitting your chair, you can do both at the same time. Okay, so lots of variety. And then we can make that a little harder by taking it slow. So take it out for 2 and back for 2 and out for 2 and back and out for 2 and back and out, 2 and back. Now, I always like to make it a little bit harder too. You don't have to, but I can take a little squat as I'm doing that also. And back, out, and 2, and back. So this is working those triceps, the muscles that don't get as much attention. So it's real important to not skip them. And out and back. Perfect. And just one more variation, and I can take and turn my palms up. Okay, I'm going to hinge forward a little bit more. I'm going to keep my arms long, and I'm going to take them straight back and up and straight back. Now, by having this long lever, it makes it a little bit harder. And 4, let's do a couple more. 5 and 6. Good. Come back to center. Let's roll those shoulders out and kind of open up those palms. I like to get a little arch in the back here, a little mini back bend, and then bring it to the front. Get a nice round. Excellent. And take it to the back. Good. All right, so let's do a little bit with our shoulders. So we have 3 parts to the shoulder, to the deltoid. So this is our deltoid. It has 3 parts, much like our glutes have 3 parts. And so we have the anterior, medial, and posterior part of our shoulder. And we do 3 exercises to address those different muscles, okay, or different parts of the same muscle. So the first one, I hinge at the hips, and I'm going to just bring, I'm going to bring the arms up at a kind of a 90-degree angle. Okay, so I just bring them up here and bring them down and bring them up and down and 3 and down and 4 down, 5 and 6. So sometimes with these, I do some little variations. Sometimes I lift a heel. I don't know if you can tell, but I got my heel lifted. So it makes a little bit of a balance. I'll lift the other heel, balance. Oftentimes, in this move, I'll do one at a time. It's nice to move, to not always do your patterns with both arms, because when you're doing both, sometimes you can't really pay attention to how it feels, but like you can lift and go, that one feels a little different than this one. Maybe I need to do a lighter weight on one hand or no weights, or maybe I need to do more repetitions on one just to kind of loosen it out or whatever. So working them individually sometimes helps. All right, now take those feet into a V, into our plie position, okay? When we're in a plie position, if I did do a squat, remember the knees come straight out over the toes and I just drop straight down. So I come up and I drop straight down, all right? So the next exercise we're gonna do, I'm gonna have my palms facing my body. My pinkies are leading. I'm taking off with the pinkies, and I'm taking it out to the side. Okay, so keep those palms facing to the back wall. All right, and if you want, then you can add those squats. Now, I've showed you many times, but it's kind of like you're sliding down the wall. And again, you might, if you have a little space in your apartment or room there, try a couple sliding down the walls. Another kind of fun thing to do if you're going to do something down the wall, I'm getting sidetracked here, but is to do like snow angels and try keeping your hands up against the wall, because your shoulders have to be back and everything. It's not as easy as it appears. And just have those arms right up against the wall. All right, and then the final exercise for the shoulders in that plie here. Okay, I'm gonna bring it up and I kick it up and over. Bring it down, up. We call this He-Man or goddess. It's like a goddess pose in yoga for those of you who take in yoga. So one day I was teaching a class and it was all women. That's not usually the case, but it was. And she said, "Why do you always call that He-Man, Colleen? We should call that goddess." So whatever turns you on there. And up. Good. Now, I can get this similar motion by doing a hammer. Okay, so I remember our hammer position. I haven't reviewed it today, but the hammer position in bicep. So I can take it up and I can pour. See that's very similar position that we got here. Okay, so I could do it from this position up and pour and down and work those shoulders the same way. So there's so many ways to work. And that's why I want people to realize too that if one of the ways that I demonstrate doesn't work with your muscles, you've got some sort of injury or just the way you're built, there's so many other ways to address those same muscles. All right, let's roll that out. And let's do one more muscle group, and that's the rotator cuff. And the rotator cuff is 4 muscles in the shoulder, the spinatus and supraspinatus and teres, major and minor. But so there's 4 muscles, subscapularis. So it's not just when they say rotator cuff, it's not one little part. It can be any part of those 4 or a combination. And one of the nice exercises for opening up that and strengthening it is locking the elbows by the side and just taking the hands out to the side. So take it out and back and out and back. Good. Get that a nice extension. We can take it slower here. We can take it out for 2. And I want to kind of lock the elbows in because that's what kind of opens the shoulders up and back. And back. I could also do that in the hammer position. Okay, see how the difference? My weights are going straight up now. And all of this is just a slight little, variance that makes it work better for your body. And I could also take it and I could use the wrists a little bit and roll it over and take it out and roll it back and take it out and back and out and back. Perfect. And back. Good. And bring it down. Let's roll the shoulders out a little bit and let's do a little up and down and up. And I'm in that hammer position. And now I'm doing just a long arm. Okay, just that long arm makes it, anytime you got a longer lever, makes it a little bit harder. Out and back. Perfect. Last one. All right. I'm going to grab some water and sit down. And let's just do a couple things here. First of all, usually when I come down, I like to try to work the core, those abdominals. And one of the basic ones that we do is taking and crossing the weights across the chest and having my knees right over my ankles. I'll turn sideways here. Let's see. So knees right over the ankles. And I'm sitting out kind of on the edge of my chair. I come forward, get that little hinge, and then I come back, and can you see I'm kind of at a little bit of an angle, and I'm not touching my chair, okay? If you have to, you can, but try to hold there, and then I come forward and back. And if I can hold in this position a little bit, you should feel your abdominal muscles engaging. Go back just a little bit. Okay, and I could make it easier by putting the weights down, which is fine. I could make it harder by bringing the weights to my shoulder. You'll be amazed at how much difference that can make. Okay. And then the other way that I can add intensity to this, if I really want to work on that core, is I can take my legs out. Okay. So now we're making a longer lever on the legs. I can cross them a little bit. Okay. Or I could stack them. And when you cross them and stack them, you also get a little bit of a hamstring stretch. So hamstring here when you come forward. Again, I could have, but now I could have the weights at my shoulder and I could have my legs crossed. So lots of different variety there, working that core. Now, people often tell me, oh, I need more core work, I need more core work. Keep in mind that anytime I'm lifting my knees up, okay, any of this marching stuff, all core work, okay? If I have you pulling down to the sides, all core work. So there's a lot of core work that we're doing, lifting the knee up, extending, boom, core work, okay? So we kind of have this idea, I think, from our youth that we have to be doing crunchies, but we don't. So there's lots of different ways to work that core, all right? So let's go ahead and put those weights aside, and let's do a little cool down. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this more kind of a talk. You can let the staff know if you would prefer I do this more often or whatever. Okay, so let's come to a nice little relaxed position. When we're, after we've done a workout, lots of times people want to like turn off the thing and walk away for the last 5 minutes, but it's kind of important to just let your muscles kind of relax and do the final stretching. So let's take a nice inhale up. And exhale down. Good. Let's do that again. Really filling those lungs and lifting that body, inhaling up. And exhale down. Good. Take both arms up. Let's inhale up. And take one hand to the opposite knee and reach back. Inhale both hands up. And reach back. Good. Inhale both hands up. Take one hand to the knee, one hand to the hip. Stretch. And inhale up. And one hand to the hip, one hand to the knee. All right, and inhale up. Take that hand to the back of your chair. Lift those shoulders up and roll back and arch that back and waiting a little mini cobra. Good, and come back to center. Roll the shoulders a little bit, one way. And take it back the opposite way. Good. So I'd like to try to think about moving the muscles that we've been working. Just give them a nice stretch. Roll that wrist a little bit. Good. Other arm crossed. And roll. Back that way. Good. And let's just take that leg and just kind of roll it a little bit. And loosening up that joint, take it back the other way. Good, other leg, roll it. Take it back the other way. Good. And I'm going to extend one leg out. I'm going to pull that toe up and just kind of notice how the calf feels a really good stretch. And then when I bring my hands to the knee and come forward, then I feel that stretch. It goes all the way up the back of that leg. Pull that toe in nice and tight. Can't see mine right there. Okay, and then go ahead and let's change legs. Flexing that toe up and coming forward. Good stretch. Good, and come back to center. Interlace those fingers and stretch up. Oh, good. Really elongating that spine. Get a little circle. Perfect, and back the opposite way. All right, so I'm hoping today's going to be less wind. They say there's going to be less wind, and hopefully our fire will start to subside. We can look back up at our beautiful mountains again. So that's it for today, guys. We'll see you again next week. Have a wonderful week, and keep moving, keep smiling, be happy, be safe. Bye from Colleen. See if I can end this stream and end.